come from among them, and that would rule the nations.
All right, so that wasn't the promise. It says that God chose Abraham because he would lead his children after him in the ways of God, right? The idea that the promise was just that God was going to give Abraham a special seed that, apart from how they behaved, God was going to bless.
No. I'm not talking about apart from behavior. I'm talking about specifically the promise. I'm not talking about faith.
Yeah, but the promise is contingent only on behavior.
Right? Yes, okay. I agree. Okay. I'm talking about only the promise. That's it. The what was supposed to be given to him. What we were promised through Abraham was the one that came. That's what I'm talking about. That was the promise. You believe this
in Christianity, yeah, but the Torah doesn't say this, right? I mean, it's not in our Bible.
Let me ask you, why were all the Jews in the first century expecting him to come? So all of them were waiting for a person to come, the Christ. And when the Messiah did come, the scribes and the Pharisees saying, no, he is not the one we were waiting for. So why was the Jews waiting for that one?
So I'm not convinced that all the Jews were expecting the Messiah in the first century. I'm not convinced.
Was the Messiah promised to come through Abraham's seed?
The notion of the Messiah was an idea held by some Jews. I don't believe all Jews were convinced of this idea. Yes, because of Roman persecution, because of Bar Kokhba, they were looking for someone like David to free them from the occupation. That doesn't mean that Jews were always waiting for some Messiah. When Jews were in their land and prosperous, there was never a mention of a Messiah. It was only when they were either in Babylon or about to go into exile or under Roman occupation that this idea popped up. I think the notion of a Messiah, as it's understood today, is antithetical to the Bible. The Bible does not revolve around a Messiah. The Bible revolves around a good God and his ethical will for humanity. It's so silly. If you ask the average rabbi, right, what's the purpose of everything? To coronate the Messiah. Where is that in the Torah? Absolutely nowhere. So
I wish I'd remember everything I needed to remember so I can read some patches about the promise of the Messiah.
It's fine. It's not in the Torah. I mean, it's not in the Torah. I mean, the only thing that they use in the Torah to point to a supposed promise is Genesis chapter 49. It's obscure passages like Shiloh. Nobody knows what Shiloh means. I mean, it seems that is the prophecy that David will be king.